The sharp ring of the alarm cut through the morning silence, tearing Anya from the warm embrace of sleep. She fumbled for the button, but the melody started again instantly. 5 minutes, just 5 more minutes, she thought. She had set it early on purpose, with a short snooze interval. She wanted to make Marcus his favourite potato pancakes. They took time, lots of time. Anya threw her eyes open and glanced at the clock. Plenty of time. Soon, magical aromas filled the apartment. Marcus, peering into the kitchen, took a deep breath. "What smells so delicious?" he asked with a smile. "Your favourite potato pancakes." Anya laughed. "Come on, sleepyhead. Into the bathroom and then to the table, or we'll be late for work." Marcus gave a playful salute and disappeared. Anya finished cooking and set the table. Thoughts swirled in her head. She and Marcus had met as students. She was a future economist. He, a programmer. It had been love at first sight. They got married right after graduation. It didn't matter that they didn't own their place. They decided a rented 2-bedroom apartment would do for now. Money didn't grow on trees. Marcus's parents lived far away in a small town. Anya's parents did too. Her father had died long ago, leaving her mother a spacious 3-bedroom apartment downtown. Of course they could have lived there, but they decided otherwise. Anya's mother, Eleanor, was upset, but accepted her daughter and son-in-law's choice. "That's right. Let them be independent," she had said then. They lived in the rented apartment, saving for the down payment on a mortgage. They earned well at the advertising firm, but life in the city was expensive. After several years, they still hadn't saved enough. Marcus suggested moving in with Eleanor to save money, but Anya refused. 2 women running 1 kitchen was a disaster, even if they were mother and daughter. Besides, they were almost at their target amount. Marcus agreed. Everything was fine, but one thing bothered Anya. She couldn't get pregnant. She wanted a baby so badly. Marcus was calmer. He said, "It's not time yet." But Anya had been actively visiting clinics for a year. Marcus just shook his head. Where would we put a child now? But Anya wanted one desperately. Marcus returned from the bathroom, interrupting her sad thoughts. He kissed his wife and smiled. "So, are my pancakes ready?" He dug into the food with appetite, praising every bite. Anya sipped her coffee thoughtfully. "I need to go to the clinic right after lunch," she said softly. "Again?" Marcus sighed. "Anya, we've talked about this so many times. Let's live for ourselves first, buy an apartment, and then we'll figure out this problem. I'm scared. What if I'm infertile? The doctors say one thing, then another." "They're just taking your money," Marcus replied irritably. "Not that much. How about we go together today? Besides, the doctor invited you." "You think the problem is with me?" Marcus looked reproachfully at his wife. "Honey, I told you. Sarah got pregnant by me in our 3rd year, and she had an abortion." "Yes, I remember. But still, let's check together." "I won't. Besides, I definitely can't get away today. I have to install a new program." He thanked her for breakfast and hurried off to get ready. Anya was annoyed that her husband took their shared problem so lightly. She sighed, took off her apron, and also rushed to get dressed. Soon they were driving in their old car, chatting about trivial things, as if the morning conversation hadn't happened. Outside the office, Marcus suddenly took her hand. "Sweetheart, don't be mad at me. I understand. This is very important. I'll definitely go with you, just not today. Honestly, I have a lot of work." "Next time then," she smiled. Anya went to the clinic anyway. Dr. Oscar said nothing new, prescribed vitamins, and advised her to bring her husband. Anya smiled. "Marcus is almost ready." "Good, I'll expect you," Oscar replied, booking them in 2 weeks. The first thing Anya did at work was to check on Marcus. Outside his office, she bumped into Brian, his colleague. "Is Marcus in?" She smiled. "Yes," Brian replied, somewhat flustered. "Well, he's busy right now." "It's all right, I won't be long." Anya nodded and walked on. Brian stood, watching her go, then shivered. "No, it can't be." But it was reality. Marcus and Claire were kissing, oblivious to everything around them. Her husband turned and saw Anya. He blushed, then paled, and stammered, "You're back already." Tears welled up treasonously. Her lips tightened. She spun around sharply and rushed away. Marcus started after her, but Claire stopped him. "Darling, that's good. Now she knows everything. I'm tired of hiding." Anya heard Claire's thin, annoying voice. Marcus stayed with his secretary, while Anya ran down the corridor. Tired of hiding, hammered in her head. Had it been going on for a long time then? She saw nothing, felt nothing. She ran past Brian, standing with his head down. The poor guy felt sorry for Anya. "Marcus, you idiot! How could he trade beautiful Anya for that scrawny Claire?" Brian had known everything for a long time and told his friend it wouldn't end well, but he just brushed him off. Anya burst into the accounting department where her friends and colleagues sat. Sophie, Emily, Chloe. The girls looked at Anya in surprise. "What happened? Why are you crying?" Sophie ran up to her. "Marcus! Anya was choking on tears. "We know," Emily said quietly, not raising her eyes. "Everything?" Anya looked around at her friends in horror. You knew everything. By their expressions, she understood. Yes, they knew. "Girls, you knew everything?" she asked, wiping her tears. "We all knew," Sophie repeated softly. "Oh my God! How awful!" Anya sobbed. She grabbed her bag and ran home. She couldn't bear to stay there, where everyone was whispering, and knew her humiliation. Marcus was waiting for Anya at the entrance. "Anya, let's talk," he said, without hysterics and tears, like adults. "I don't want to talk to you about anything," Anya replied slowly, choosing her words carefully. "You're a scoundrel." The next moment she stepped closer, slapped him, and rushed down the stairs. Marcus didn't run after her again. "To hell with you, you idiot!" he hissed through his teeth and headed back to the office. He was sure Anya would cool down by evening, and they would talk calmly at home. In principle, he had been planning to have this conversation for a long time. He had been seeing Claire for about a year. Rare, passionate encounters. With Claire, he felt like a lion, a Hercules, an Apollo, and with Anya, just everyday routine, and that obsessive desire to have a baby. Why would he want a child with Anya when Claire was right there? So tender, so ethereal. Besides, Claire had a huge advantage. Her uncle was the company boss, and that was very important for Marcus, the careerist. That evening, returning home, he firmly decided he would offer Anya a divorce, let her move in with her mother, and live happily there, and he and Claire would stay in this apartment. Claire didn't have her own place yet either, but her uncle would surely help. At least, Marcus was sure of a raise in salary. He thought of calling Eleanor, Anya's mother, but decided not to bother the elderly woman for now. He had a good relationship with Eleanor, and didn't want to hear nasty things from her too. But Anya wasn't at her mother's place. She had gone to her friends. She and Lucy had been friends since school, crying on each other's shoulders through all their troubles. And this time, over a bottle of red wine, Anya talked about her husband's betrayal, cried, talked, and drank. "He's a jerk," Lucy sympathised. "I always knew it would come to this." "Why?" Anya asked, sniffling. "Because jerk is written all over his face. He has those oily eyes like a tomcat in spring. I don't understand what you ever saw in him." "I love him," Anya said, shaking her head. She agreed with her friend and continued to cry. The wine did its job. When the bottle was empty, the friends decided that nothing terrible had happened after all. It was good that everything came out now. What if it had happened after Anya managed to get pregnant? Everything happens for a reason. "Lucy, can I stay with you for a few days?" Anya asked, settling onto the sofa. "Of course," Lucy nodded, "but I don't understand why you don't want to go back to your mother's. You see, she's so ill and sensitive. Her heart acts up at the slightest thing. I don't want her to worry. I don't want to tell her anything yet." "So, you're thinking of making up with Marcus?" "No, he betrayed me." And Anya cried again. Lucy began to comfort her. "I can't even imagine how we'll meet at work again," Anya said, sniffling. I don't want to go anywhere tomorrow. Then don't, Lucy supported her. She thought about something for a moment and then suggested, Anya, my work gave me a voucher for a seaside trip. It's not a foreign resort but a very decent place. Honestly, I wanted to go myself, but you need it more. Anyway, the flight is the day after tomorrow. Will you go? Why, it's your voucher. It's no problem. The voucher isn't in my name. It's fine. Anya, you need to rest, get away, breathe the sea air, sunbathe. You and Marcus, maybe by then, you'll decide. Make up with him? Never, Anya exclaimed. But then she thought about it. Actually, it was a good idea. But I still feel awkward. It feels like I'm taking your trip. You're not taking anything. I'm giving it to you. We're best friends. Thank you. They hugged. There were no more tears. The women started discussing what needed to be done before the trip. Buy a swimsuit, sunscreen, lots of other things to make the holiday enjoyable. In the morning, Anya called work and spoke to her boss. She needed 2 weeks off, starting today. Her boss valued Anya as a specialist, so with a heavy heart, he approved the leave. Just write a request, he said finally, and get your affairs in order. My affairs are in order, Anya assured him, and I'll bring the request in. And she still had to go to work, but Anya timed it so Marcus wouldn't be in the office. She saw them outside the office. They came out of the building, so happy, so in love. Marcus was supporting Claire by the elbow. She was chirping something, and he was smiling back. Seeing Anya, both froze. Anya's legs felt like cotton. She wanted to rush at Marcus with her fists, then claw at Claire's bleached locks. But her feet seemed glued to the ground, and her heart pounded heavily in her chest, ready to leap out. She still found the strength to restrain herself, to be as indifferent as possible. She even managed a smirk. Well, lovebirds, not hiding it anymore? She asked, a little ironically. Anya, we're adults. Let's not make a scene, Marcus replied, flustered, shielding Claire. Don't worry, I won't touch your girlfriend, Anya replied just as calmly. Go on your way. I don't have time to argue with a traitor. Besides, I'm starting a new life. I'm flying to the seaside for a holiday. But Anya couldn't resist bragging a little. Let her almost ex-husband wonder where she got the money for the trip. She wanted to sting him that way. To the seaside? With who? With a loved one? Marcus shouted after her. Yesterday you were playing the injured party, and today you're off with someone else. That's not for you to talk about. Anya threw back over her shoulder. Marcus shouted many more nasty things, but Anya wasn't listening anymore. She ran into the building and caught her breath. It felt like tears would pour out at any moment. A lump in her throat made it hard to breathe. Quiet, quiet, she whispered to herself. She glanced towards the entrance. Through the door, she saw Marcus and Claire walking towards a cafe, discussing something animatedly. They were discussing here. Well, let them. Now Marcus would wonder who she was with and where, and she wouldn't tell him anything. Anya submitted her request to HR, then dropped into the accounting department. The girls, hearing Anya was going to the seaside, were a little envious. Anya didn't tell them the whole truth. Let there be some intrigue. She didn't want them to pity her, sympathise with her, thinking a dumped wife was rushing off to the sea to heal her wounds. Let everyone think she wasn't alone, and she hadn't been dumped, but that she had left. After work, Anya stopped by the apartment and packed her essential things. She cast a farewell glance at the door. What would happen when she returned? But she didn't want to think about that yet. The next item on her itinerary was her mother, Eleanor. Eleanor felt uneasy that morning for some reason. She took her blood pressure. No, it was fine. She took all her necessary pills, but her heart still ached somehow. She decided to distract herself and bake some croissants. Working with the dough did make the anxiety pass. The elderly woman busied herself with the dough and filling. Soon, fabulous aromas floated through the apartment. And then, the doorbell rang. Must be the neighbour who smelled the baking. Eleanor smiled to herself. Mrs. Gable sometimes dropped by to chat about life. She opened the door and her eyebrows shot up. Anya, why aren't you at work? Was the first thing she said. Did you get fired? Oh dear, no wonder my heart was aching. Nobody got fired, Mom, Anya smiled. I'm on vacation starting today. Vacation? You were planning for August? You and Marcus were going to do preserving at the cottage then? I changed the dates, her daughter replied, ignoring the topic of the cottage and her husband. Mom, I was given a voucher. I'm flying to the seaside tomorrow. To the seaside? Eleanor frowned. Alone? What about Marcus? It's a single voucher and Marcus is a grown man. He'll manage without me, Anya shrugged. She didn't tell Eleanor about her husband's betrayal. She would find out later. Not now. Anya pitied her, knowing her mother's sensitivity, and worried about her health. It was true, the less you know, the better you sleep. Anya and Eleanor drank tea with fragrant croissants and chatted about trivialities. Her mother kept trying to steer the conversation back to her husband, but her daughter cleverly diverted it, talking about the upcoming packing, the weather down south, the benefits of a seaside tan. Next time, Mom, we'll definitely fly together, she said goodbye, hugging Eleanor. Oh, I'm past that age, her mother just shrugged. You should be flying with your husband. Anya hugged her mother tightly one more time and left the apartment. She still had a lot to do before her trip. A weight had lifted from her soul, and she thought less about the offence Marcus had caused her. Anya had a feeling this trip would completely change her life. The next morning, Lucy saw Anya off at the airport. Have a holiday for both of us, friend, Lucy winked. I'll try, Anya smiled. You know, I'm so grateful to you. I feel like thanks to this voucher, my life is definitely going to change for the better. Lucy, I'll never forget your amazing gift. Oh, nonsense, it's nothing. You're smiling, that's all I need. The friends hugged goodbye, and soon Anya was looking at the receding ground through the airplane window. She was flying through the clouds towards her dream, towards the sea. She had always wanted to go there, but constant saving had prevented it. And now her dream was coming true. Marcus returned home that evening. Anya was still not there. He noticed her travel bag and suitcase were gone. Some of his wife's things were missing, so she really had gone on vacation. Marcus smirked. That little witch! He had been pretending, acting the injured party. God, his mother-in-law would find out. But Anya, it seemed, wasn't too upset. It was because she had been cheating on him herself. She had said so herself yesterday. Marcus couldn't understand one thing. Why was she so obsessed with having a baby with him then? Or maybe her lover didn't want one. Or maybe Anya didn't have anyone. She just blurted it out in a fit of anger. And maybe she hadn't flown anywhere. Marcus decided to call Eleanor to find out where her daughter was. He felt no remorse whatsoever. He just wanted clarity. Eleanor was very surprised to hear Marcus ask, "Where is Anya?" "What, Marcus? You don't know?" "I don't understand." "Anya was here yesterday. She said her friend gave her a voucher. She went on vacation," the woman said, worried. "I even told her it wasn't good to go alone, without you." She was kind of detached about it. "Marcus, is everything all right between you and Anya?" "Unfortunately, no," Marcus replied. "Now everything is clearer to me than ever." "What's clear?" "Just that your daughter is cheating on me." "Eleanor, Anya, are you serious? She loves you more than life itself." "Yes. She herself told me she has a lover. I didn't want to believe it. And I was wrong. She flew away on vacation with him." As Marcus spoke, he became more and more convinced he was right, feeling wronged by his wife, completely forgetting about his own infidelity. Now, in Eleanor's eyes, he was the victim. She tried to say something in her daughter's defence. The woman couldn't believe Anya would do such a thing. But Marcus was on a roll. He shouted into the phone how much he loved Anya, and she had betrayed him. Why? What for? Now there was only one way out: divorce. "Wait, Marcus, or don't get worked up. Anya will come back, and everything will be cleared up. She couldn't have cheated on you. Maybe she's upset about something." "What about? How could I have upset her? I treated her like fragile glass." "I still don't believe my daughter is like that," Eleanor replied firmly. "That's not how I raised her." "All right, Eleanor, you're probably right. I won't wind myself up. Maybe someone said something about me, and Anya believed it. When she comes back, we'll talk. Exactly, and I'll call her right now. Her plane landed a long time ago, and she should be there by now. Their conversation ended there. Now Marcus was sure that whatever Anya said, she would still be the one to blame. He had told his side first. Why did he need all this? It was simple. Marcus was naturally a coward and always tried to find someone else to blame. Anyone but him. Eleanor had been trying to reach Anya for an hour, but her daughter's phone was out of service. The elderly woman felt her heart clench painfully. Bad premonitions overwhelmed her. Mechanically, she turned on the television so as not to sit in silence, listening to Anya's phone's voicemail. The news was just starting. At first, the anchor was talking about world events, then suddenly interrupted herself and reported urgent news. A bus had plunged into a ravine on a mountain serpentine road in a resort town, on its way from the airport. Several people had died, many were injured, and some were missing. Eleanor cried out hearing this report. It was the same seaside town Anya was heading to, and then the phone rang. Eleanor, without looking at the display, pressed the call button and cried out, "Anya! Anya! Are you all right?" "Eleanor, it's Lucy." "Oh, Lucy, I don't understand anything. They're talking about some bus, and Anya isn't answering." "I know everything, Eleanor. Just don't worry." "Tell me it's not true. Anya wasn't on that bus, was she?" "I just called emergency services. They said they're clarifying the passenger lists." "Oh, my God! I hope she wasn't there." And Eleanor repeated these words like a prayer for the rest of the evening. Anya still didn't call. Eleanor informed Marcus about what had happened. He was indeed in shock. He certainly hadn't planned on separating from his wife like this. By morning, information became available. All passengers, alive and dead, had been retrieved from the ravine, but Anya wasn't there. Although she had definitely been seen on the bus, they suggested Anya might have been carried away by the river current nearby. A turbulent mountain river could have swept Anya away far from the tragedy site. Rescuers were now searching for her body. Her body! Eleanor refused to believe Anya was no longer alive. Her neighbour, Mrs. Gable, hearing of the misfortune, was there. Lucy also came to offer support. Soon Marcus also appeared. Lucy couldn't stand looking at him. He was pretending to grieve, while he himself. However, it wasn't her place to talk about Marcus's infidelity in front of Eleanor. It was inappropriate now. The woman was barely holding on as it was. Lucy asked several times, should she call an ambulance? But the woman refused, and then suddenly collapsed in an instant. The ambulance arrived quickly. Eleanor was hospitalised with suspected stroke. The last thing Anya remembered was the final moments on the bus. Passengers were admiring the local scenery, marvelling at the steep and narrow mountain road they were climbing. Anya, too, was glued to the window, looking with interest at the endless deep ravine right next to them. What if we fall? A disturbing thought flashed. She didn't even have time to convince herself it was silly. The route was proven, and the driver was clearly experienced. Suddenly the bus jolted and swerved. The next second they were falling. Anya screamed in terror like everyone else, understanding that no one in this world could help them, now but God. And then, an impact, and darkness. Afterwards, Anya felt like she was sleeping, having a heavy, sticky dream that wouldn't end, pulling her deeper into some abyss. And in this dream, she was floating, or rather, being carried by a strong current, her listless body painfully hitting against stones. She submitted powerlessly to this unknown force, like a grain of sand in a vast ocean. And then she realised she was suffocating. She wanted to open her eyes, breathe air, but unpleasant icy water rushed into her lungs. Anya understood it wasn't a dream, it was death. Then some shove, a blow, and darkness again. And how long this darkness lasted was unknown. Anya woke up in some house. She was lying on a simple iron bed covered by an old blanket. The woman tried to lift her head, and excruciating pain instantly shot through her body. She passed out again, and again. A sluggish dream pulled her into a web of visions. Marcus appeared with his mistress. They laughed, kissed before her eyes. Her mother materialised. She was saying something, trying to convince her of something, and then she cried. And sometimes Anya saw a large bearded man who leaned over her and whispered something in an incomprehensible language. It was so frightening. And then the dream receded. Anya opened her eyes and couldn't understand. Was she dead or still alive? Where was she? The same iron bed, the blanket. The woman cautiously turned her head. The pain was still there, but not as sharp. Anya could examine the simple furnishings of the room. A clay floor, whitewashed stone walls, a small window draped with some rag. Besides the bed there was a roughly built table and a hearth. Anya had seen one like it in a cartoon as a child. A pot hung over it on an iron rod. The room smelled of some herbs. Anya couldn't identify which, but the smell made her want to sneeze uncontrollably. Ash! Hoo! She couldn't help herself. And then, from behind the curtain that separated another room, the same bearded man from her dreams appeared. Anya froze in horror, realizing the dream was continuing. "You're awake!" The man's voice brought her out of her stupor. "Well, finally! You've been lying here for 3 months. Not dying, not living." 3 months! Anya whispered in horror. "Where am I? Who are you?" "Call me Silas," the man grinned. "Do you remember your name?" Anya. That's a start. And you remember what happened to you, Anya. The bus. I was on it. It fell into the ravine. That's right, so your skull wasn't too shaken. I've been nursing you back to health, but I put the splints on properly. It should have healed by now. Why am I here? Wasn't I taken to a hospital? To a hospital? The man grinned again. Why? No. You're mine. And he, chuckling, disappeared behind the curtain again. Anya understood that returning from the other side was not the end of her suffering, and the most terrifying thing was that her body barely obeyed her. She was like a rag doll on this old bed, and this man could do whatever he wanted with her. Soon Silas returned. He went to the hearth, poured some liquid from the pot into an iron mug, then sat down by Anya's bed on a roughly made stool. "Drink," he said, and handed her the mug. "What is it?" Anya whispered in fear. "Don't be scared, it's not poisoned." His lips spread again into a snake-like smile. "It's a decoction of mountain herbs. It's good for you now. Drink, I said." And he brought the drink to Anya's lips, pressing down painfully with the rim of the mug. The woman obediently drank. The warm decoction, surprisingly, tasted pleasant, with a slight bitterness and a honey aftertaste. After drinking it, Anya felt a wave of vitality spread through her body. She even wanted to sit up. "Don't rush," Silas said, watching her attempts. "Don't waste your energy. You'll get up when your body allows it." Anya nodded obediently again. This large, bearded man frightened her and at the same time surprised her. Who was he? Why was he keeping her here in an old shack? Was she his prisoner? Several more days passed. Anya could now get up on her own. Dressed, she went out onto the porch and just froze in shock. There were only mountains all around. This small house, built of stone, was situated so high that it seemed you could touch the sky, and there was no one else around. Silas appeared from behind a rock. He was wearing a long cloak, leaning on a stick, a large sack on his back. In the daylight, Anya saw him clearly for the first time. He was a man in his 50s, strong, tall, with a thick black beard. His equally black curls with a bit of grey reached almost to his shoulders, a sharp nose, the predatory gaze of dark eyes. Silas was somewhat like a hawk. Anya shivered. What kind of person was he? "Came out?" Silas asked unexpectedly, cheerfully, coming closer. "That's good. Breathe the air. It's good for you. Though you might feel a little dizzy here until you get used to it." "No, not dizzy. It's fine." "And where did you go?" "Out on business," Silas chuckled. "We'll feast like kings now." He dropped the sack from his shoulders and untied it. Anya recoiled in horror when she saw the contents. "Why are you so scared?" Silas laughed. "It's meat, a lamb. I have a small flock grazing down there. You need some fresh meat now. Do you like lamb?" "To be honest, I can't stand it," Anya admitted. "Well, there's nothing else." Silas shrugged. "You'll eat it. Maybe you can help me?" What needs doing? Peel vegetables, they're in the house, under the table in a box. Take 2 large onions and the same number of carrots. While Anya peeled vegetables, Silas busied himself with the meat. Soon a cauldron of lamb was bubbling on the coals outside the house, and Anya sat on the porch with her rescuer. Anya wanted to ask this gloomy man many things, but she didn't dare, although she no longer felt the same fear of him as before. Now Silas seemed like an ordinary person, unsociable, not very talkative, but he was quite normal, not some villain. Soon the lamb was ready, and Anya, it seemed, ate with such appetite for the first time in her life. The meat just melted in her mouth, and the broth was heavenly. You said you didn't eat lamb, Silas chuckled, watching her devour it. This is some other kind of lamb, the woman replied with a full mouth. I've never eaten anything so delicious in my life. That's because it's cooked properly, Silas smiled. Eat, eat. You need your strength. And then they sat on the porch again, drinking herbal tea and saying nothing, each lost in their own thoughts. Silas, tell me about yourself, Anya asked timidly. What's there to tell about me? He shook his head. I've lived as a hermit for many years, that's all. You tell me about yourself. Were you married? Anya thought for a moment and replied. And somehow, without noticing, she told Silas her whole story. He listened, silent, sighing, shaking his head. We're similar in that way, he finally said, unexpectedly hoarsely. I was also betrayed, only many years ago. Tell me. He looked at her searchingly. He thought for a moment, then smiled grimly. All right, listen. And Anya sat holding her breath, listening to Silas's story. Many years ago, he was a warrior. He believed his commanders told the truth, and he fought for that righteous cause. No, he wasn't some brute. He was defending, as he thought, his people's right to live independently. And then it turned out he had been deceived. With the help of him and people like him, those at the top were gaining power and money. When Silas understood this, he left everything and returned home to his family. He had a beautiful wife back then. He thought Sarah was waiting for him. But he found his wife with a lover, a neighbour, an insignificant little man, weak. What did Sarah see in him? He wanted to kill them both right there. Sarah was silent, looking at him with eyes full of horror. And the neighbour. He begged on his knees for his life. Silas felt disgusted. He stepped back, didn't commit a sin, left the house, slamming the door. He didn't know where to go. He had only walked 100 metres from the house when there was a whistle, a roar, and then a crash. A shell hit his home directly, where Sarah and the neighbour were. In place of the house was a deep crater. Silas stood, deafened by everything that had happened. Just a minute ago, he had been looking at his wife, almost committed the irreparable, but spared her because he still loved her. But the Almighty had judged otherwise, and Silas felt so much pain. Now he was truly alone, needed by no one, and he went into the mountains forgetting everything. He knew the state promised amnesty to people like him. He didn't need that forgiveness, because he couldn't forgive himself for that war, for the death he had caused anyway, even unintentionally, for Mother's grief. And he couldn't forgive himself for leaving the house then. Then he wouldn't be suffering any more. But the war quieted down. Only memories remained of the past war. Many, like Silas, returned to people, but he remained high in the mountains. He lived as a hermit. This way he was closer to the sky, to God, who would one day send him forgiveness. Over time, Silas was able to fix up the house, buy sheep. He made money by hunting, selling fur and meat to locals down below. That's how he saved a little. He had only one phone, an old button phone. He called only in case of extreme necessity. People knew there was an eccentric living high in the mountains, but no one knew exactly where, because Silas was careful to hide his location. Was he lonely? Of course, yes. Sometimes at night he howled with the wolves, but the sun rose, and with it a new day began, and Silas lived on. One day he was returning from a small village where he had gone to the shop for matches and salt. The road ran along the river. Unexpectedly, from a distance, he saw something by the bank. At first, he thought it was just a peculiar snag, but when he got closer, he realized it was a person, a woman. Silas was horrified to see the wounds on her body. Apparently, she had fallen from a height and then drifted in the river for a long time. She was clearly dead. Just in case, he felt for a pulse, and suddenly he felt a faint beat in the artery. Then the woman stirred. What should he do? His first thought was to pick her up and carry her to the people in the village. But Silas stopped himself immediately. What if they accused him of injuring the woman? No, he didn't need those problems. So he carefully picked her up and carried her back to his place, high in the mountains. For almost 3 months, the woman was between life and death. Silas, remembering all the tricks his long-deceased mother and grandmother knew, treated the unfortunate woman. He used herbs, incantations. Besides that, Silas went to the city and bought necessary medicines from a doctor he knew. Only the woman's leg caused concern. It was clearly broken. At his own risk, Silas set splints. With time, the leg began to heal, but the woman didn't regain consciousness. She often thrashed about and cried, and Silas was there. He wiped the sweat from her forehead, changed her clothes, washed her. He was just there. For the first time in many years, Silas felt what it meant to care for someone. He even bought her clothes, all sorts of women's things from the village shop. He just wanted to make her happy. This unfortunate stranger became the meaning of his life, and now he was sure he wouldn't give her to anyone. She was his. No, she didn't resemble his ex-wife at all. Small, somehow his own. But that was even better. There was none of that pain in his heart. This woman was supposed to heal him from the past. At least, that's what Silas thought. Of course, he didn't voice these considerations to Anya, but she understood everything anyway. She listened to him with a mixed feeling of fear and pity, and also gratitude. He had saved her, nursed her back to health. But what next? "I'm so sorry that things turned out this way in your life," Anya said carefully, choosing her words. "But I wanted to know, will you let me go?" "No," Silas replied sharply. "Am I your prisoner? You are my guest. Silas, understand. I can't live here with you. My mother is sick. She hasn't known what happened to me for so many months. They probably think I'm dead. That's good, they think that, and we'll live here. But that's cruel. You have no right to decide for me. I have that right because I pulled you back from the other side. No buts. You will stay with me. End of story. I decided so. Anya, understand. I won't do anything bad to you. I won't even touch you." He stood up and went into the house. Turning back, he added, "And don't even think about running away from here. You won't make it anyway. You'll either fall off the cliff or get eaten by wild animals. No one here can help you. Only I can." He disappeared into the house, and Anya sat there, swallowing tears. Would she really have to spend her whole life here, in the mountains with this hermit? She would never see her mother, her friend Lucy, or even Marcus. The thought of the latter made her flinch. No, she definitely didn't want to see him, and the endless days flowed by. At first, Anya refused to eat or talk to Silas. He didn't react at all. He would leave somewhere in the morning by a hidden path and return in the evening. Seeing that nothing was cooked, he would sigh and start working, and Anya would demonstratively sit, doing nothing. They were silent for days, weeks, and it was driving Anya crazy. She was ready to run away. Once she even tried to follow the same path Silas had taken in the morning. And just as he had warned, she almost fell into the ravine. How he managed to walk there was beyond her understanding. Then winter came. It was quite harsh in the mountains. Silas was now home all day. He had given his sheep, as he said, to someone else to keep for a while, and slaughtered some of them. So they weren't in danger of starving. He sat by the hearth, warming himself, lost in thought. Anya, huddled in a corner, remained silent. He cooked food and silently brought her a plate. Anya would refuse, but sometimes she couldn't fight the hunger and took a bite. One morning, Anya woke up hearing strange, rasping sounds in the next room. That's how Silas was breathing. She pushed aside the curtain and went to the man lying on the makeshift cot. Then she dared to approach closer. Silas was unconscious. Anya put her hand on his forehead and instantly pulled it back. He was burning up. She rushed to find the first aid kit. Surely there were medicines, the ones he had used to treat her. Fortunately, she found everything. Fever reducers, antibiotics, even ampules and syringes. But Anya had never given injections, and what good was it if he was unconscious? She wasn't a doctor. Anya remembered how her mother used to bring down her temperature with sponging when she was a child. She ran to find vinegar, found it in some jar. She wet a cloth and started wiping Silas's hot body. After a while, the fever began to subside. Finally, Silas opened his eyes. Phew! Why does it smell so much of vinegar? He said. Did you decide to make me into shish kebab? I'm trying to help you. You had such a high fever you lost consciousness, Anya replied timidly. I didn't know how to do it right, but it seems to have helped. Helped? Now I'll smell like marinated meat for a month, Silas chuckled. Oh, you're joking. That means you're better, Anya smiled. But you need to go to the hospital. What if it's pneumonia? It is pneumonia, Silas weakly nodded. I had it as a child. It feels the same now. Then all the more reason to go to the hospital. Go ahead. Call an ambulance out here. He chuckled again. Indeed. How? No phone. No road. They were completely cut off from the world. It's all right, girl. Don't worry. I won't leave you alone. I'll get better. Now you'll treat me. See those ampules there? Give me injections of that medicine. 1 a day. Injections? Anya was horrified. I don't know how. Let me give you pills instead. I can figure out which pills I need myself. But injections are needed first thing now. And also, there, on the shelf above the hearth, there's a jar with some herb, wormwood. Take it and pour a litre of boiling water over it. Let it steep. I'll drink it. Anya did everything Silas told her. She started managing their simple dwelling. Cleaning, washing clothes, cooking. Silas, overcoming his weakness, explained to her how to use the hearth. A week passed. He was already recovering. But then another problem arose. Usually Silas brought water from somewhere, but he couldn't do it now. The huge tub of water was running low. Nothing to eat, nothing to wash with. Anya was desperate. Anya, melt snow, Silas suggested. I'm sorry you have to use water like that for now. I'll get better and bring you the tastiest water. Anya smiled gratefully, and how hadn't she thought of it herself? So, little by little, they became friends. Now they didn't keep silent as before. Anya talked about her life in the city, Silas about his childhood and youth. These were the only years he remembered with fondness, but then the war took all his relatives. 3 weeks later, Silas was firmly on his feet. He became the master of the house again, brought water, still not saying where he got it, and Anya cleaned as before. They talked, having become good friends. Then spring came, followed by summer. More than a year had passed since Anya had lived with Silas. One evening she was sitting on a stone, looking at the sky. A fluffy white cloud floated right above her head. It seemed she could reach out and touch it, feel how soft it was. Anya suddenly remembered how as a child she had been capricious and asked her mother to get her a piece of a cloud from the sky, and her mother just laughed, and then took her to a cotton candy stand. And that too was almost a cloud. Only you could taste it. The woman smiled at her memories. She didn't notice Silas approaching from behind. He was looking at her intently. Feeling his gaze, Anya turned. Their eyes met. The woman tensed. He clearly wanted to say something to her, something very important. Anya, what were you thinking about just now? He asked. I was thinking about my mother, she said softly. Do you miss her? Very much. Anya, I've been thinking for a long time, and I realised you're right. You should live in your own world. I acted cruelly, taking away everything you were used to. That's not right. You won't be happy with me, having lost everything, and so I've decided I'll help you get down from the mountains back to your people. Really? Anya exclaimed, overjoyed, and then her face clouded over. And you? Will you also go back to people? No, I'll stay here. This is my place. But how will you be here alone? I lived alone for many years, and I can now. But this is not the place for you. You must go home. Maybe you'll make up with your husband, or find someone else, have a child. You're still so young, and I'm almost an old man. Forgive me, girl, for thinking I could shape your life. I was wrong. Silas, you forgive me too, Anya sobbed, leaning against his chest. Sometimes I was difficult. I just really want to go home truly, but I can't leave you here either. You can, Silas replied firmly and hugged her tightly by the shoulders. The next day he led her down by some unseen paths. Sometimes Anya felt like she was about to fall off, but Silas's strong hand was always there beside her. Once they were on the plain, Anya felt as if the entire ground had suddenly become flat. Where were the mountains she had grown accustomed to over the past year? Anya turned towards the rock face. It feels strange, she smiled shyly at Silas. You'll get used to it. Now walk straight ahead, and you'll come out right at the village. They'll help you there. Well, goodbye, Anya. Goodbye, Silas. They hugged goodbye. Then he abruptly pushed her away and walked off towards the mountains. Anya watched him go. Silas, she suddenly called out to him. He froze in place, then slowly turned around. What's your real name? It's not Silas. Not Silas, he smiled. But it's better if you remember me by that name. That's it, girl. Go and be happy. And he turned back towards the mountains. He walked along the path, so big and strong, and at the same time downcast and lonely, like a wolf separated from the pack, destined to live as a hermit for the rest of his days. But it was his choice, and he walked, and suddenly he felt so light-hearted. He was healed, at last. For his good deed, the heavens had sent him forgiveness. No, it didn't mean his life would change in an instant. He would still return to his home in the mountains, tend his sheep, climb the rocks. Only now he knew that he wasn't living in vain. He had saved a human life. He had acted honourably in a difficult situation. Anya watched him go, not knowing what Silas was thinking, but she just wanted him to be a little happier. He deserved it. Anya walked towards the people. Near the village, a police SUV stopped in front of her, as if on cue. The local officer was simply curious about this unfamiliar woman. I was surviving in the mountains, with some family, Anya lied slightly. She didn't say anything about Silas. What if the truth harmed him, and she couldn't repay kindness with betrayal? Soon, Anya was helped to return to her hometown, and what she had to face there was a real shock. Her mother was having a very difficult time. The doctors offered no prognosis. For 3 months, the unfortunate woman was on the brink between life and death. Lucy visited her in the hospital. Mrs. Gable stopped by, and occasionally Marcus came. He had calmed down completely by then. Claire had moved in with him, and he barely thought of Anya. He was completely convinced she had died. But he still visited Eleanor in the hospital. He had an idea he wanted to put into action. He just had to hope Eleanor didn't die too soon. After 3 months, Eleanor did begin to recover. Only the right side of her body no longer obeyed her. And that's when Marcus surrounded the elderly woman with care and attention. He brought fruit, sat by her side for hours. "How's Anya?" the sick woman asked, struggling to form words. "Nothing yet," Marcus said gloomily. "But don't worry. No news is also good news. The main thing now is for you to get better. Our Anya will be found, I believe that." Eleanor shook her head in response and cried. Lucy, who saw Marcus at the hospital several times, was puzzled. Why was he coming here when he was openly living with Claire, without any shame? Surely only Eleanor didn't know about his affair. One day, meeting in the hospital corridor, Lucy approached Marcus. "What are you doing here? Aren't you ashamed to look the mother of the wife you betrayed in the eye?" she asked quietly. "I betrayed her," Marcus smirked. "She ran off with a lover herself and got what she deserved. There is a God." "Don't bring God into this, Marcus. Anya didn't cheat on you, I know that for sure. And you, how dare you come here to Eleanor?" "None of your business," Marcus snapped. "Or are you going to go tell her everything now?" "I'd love to, but I know that news could send the poor woman to her grave. But mark my words, as soon as she gets better, I'll tell her everything. Right. Marcus nodded and went into the ward. He already knew Lucy wouldn't get in his way. The thing was, a monstrous plan had formed in his mind, and he was slowly but surely moving towards it. And it was good luck for him that his mistress's cousin worked at the same firm as Lucy. Marcus truly admired himself. He had contacts everywhere. At work, Rebecca, Claire's cousin, was Lucy's direct superior. It cost Marcus nothing to ask Claire to talk to her relative. And Lucy was sent on a long business trip for 3 or 4 months. Rebecca agreed to help without delving into the details. She called Lucy into her office and announced she was sending her on a month-long internship to London. What? To London? Lucy exclaimed, surprised. Me? As a regular employee? And to England? Why are you so surprised? Rebecca smiled. You're a diligent worker. I see great potential in you, so you deserve this internship. Thank you, Lucy said gratefully, overjoyed, and then she felt somewhat confused. How could she just leave? If she hadn't given Anya that voucher, none of this would have happened. But how could Lucy have known it would end like this? It was fate, apparently Anya's destiny. Although she felt terribly sorry for her friend, Lucy no longer believed she would be found. She had seen pictures of the cliff from which the bus fell. To survive there, unlikely. How awful and unfair it all was. But life went on. Lucy decided to talk to Eleanor before going on the business trip. If she was against it, Lucy wouldn't go. But the elderly woman took the news calmly, even happily. See the world, Lucy. Go. Marcus will look after me. Marcus? Lucy frowned. Eleanor, please don't trust him too much. What? Do you think I'm a foolish child? Eleanor said slowly. Even though I'm paralysed after the stroke and speak badly, my mind is still sharp. That's what matters. Lucy nodded in response. She kissed the woman goodbye, hugged her tightly, and left the ward. Marcus watched her from the end of the corridor. Lucy didn't even notice him. She hurried off to pack for her trip. That's good, Marcus thought. Now you definitely won't get in my way. A few weeks later, the question of Eleanor's discharge came up. The doctors had done what they could to restore her. Everything else depended on her body's capabilities. Eleanor required round-the-clock home care. But who would take on such a task? Don't worry, Eleanor. I'll arrange everything, Marcus reassured her. We'll move you to the apartment now. I'll hire a caretaker. I'll come visit every day myself. And we'll get a masseur and a nurse to give you injections. You'll be walking again, you'll see. Really, the sick woman rejoiced. Thank you, Marcus, for your support. If it weren't for you, I'd just die. We'll live a long time yet, Marcus smiled. You'll see. Everything will be just wonderful. He hired a special transport vehicle and moved Eleanor to her apartment. He provided everything necessary, surrounding her with such care that not every son could provide. The sick woman was happy she was so lucky with her son-in-law. She rejoiced and wept for her daughter. Where was she? Her mother's heart didn't believe Anya was dead, and everything would work out for her and Marcus. And Marcus was contemplating the next act of his play. He was delaying, but then chance helped him. One day he came to Eleanor's after work and found a tall, middle-aged blonde woman there. She looked at Marcus contemptuously and without a word left. The caretaker explained that the woman had come, introduced herself as Eleanor's niece. So I let her in. Yes, that's Brenda, Eleanor confirmed. My husband's niece. You could say, my only relative. She sniffled and cried. Marcus struggled to find out what was going on. It turned out this Brenda had heard about Anya's disappearance under tragic circumstances, and a plan immediately formed in her mind. She came to persuade Eleanor, while she was still alive, to write a will leaving the apartment to her. After Anya, she was the only heir, to avoid problems later, not to get bogged down in courts. Wouldn't it be better to settle everything amicably now? Nobody has seen my Anya dead, Eleanor replied to Brenda, barely controlling herself. This is her apartment. I understand it's hers, but let's be realistic. So many months have passed and she hasn't been found. There are mountains, a river. You won't even find bones. How dare you? Eleanor shouted with all her might, trying to sit up. Get out! Get out! I'll go, Brenda smirked, but the apartment will still be mine. You'll be joining your dear daughter soon anyway, and she left the room, meeting Marcus on her way out. Now he sat, trying to figure out what to do with this information. He hadn't even known about this relative. Yes, a nasty woman, he said. Need to put her in her place somehow. Marcus, I've thought of something, Eleanor offered timidly. Maybe I should write a will to you. What if Anya comes back after I'm gone, and Brenda snaps up the apartment? This way, everything stays in the family. That the woman herself would suggest such a thing was something Marcus could only dream of. Then it should be a deed of gift, not a will, he replied after a moment's thought. Then Brenda won't be able to challenge it in court. But I really feel so awkward. How can I dispose of your apartment? Oh, come on, Marcus. You're almost like a son to me. You'll get better, and you'll reconcile definitely. She'll come back, I'm sure of it, Eleanor replied softly. The next day, a notary appeared at the elderly woman's apartment. The deed of gift was drawn up, certified. The deal was done. Marcus was ecstatic. Everything was going according to plan. He hadn't even expected it to be so easy. That evening, Marcus was already sharing his plans with his mistress. We'll put the old lady in a charity home now and sell the apartment, he said dreamily. The apartment is downtown, high ceilings. The renovation isn't great, but we can still ask the highest price. So maybe we can move into it ourselves for now, Claire suggested. Darling, why would we want that dump? My boss is planning to transfer me to the capital, and not without my help, he chuckled. Claire, of course, darling. What would I do without you? So we'll sell the apartment here, and the money will be enough for a decent place in the capital. I've already checked prices. My calculated young man! And Claire laughed happily, hugging Marcus. And he laughed too. But he still couldn't tell Eleanor that he was now free to dispose of her apartment. And then he came up with the story about rehabilitation. He said a spot had become available at a reputable sanatorium, and Eleanor was already expected there. Marcus didn't mention that it was just a regular house of mercy where unwanted elderly people were placed. And Eleanor was even happy. What a caring son-in-law she had. Only this caring son-in-law drove her only as far as that sanatorium, a special vehicle, a couple of attendants. Eleanor, I'd love to accompany you, but I have business, my boss called. Said there's an urgent meeting, he apologised. Of course, Marcus. I understand everything. Work comes first. I'll call you once I'm settled in, Eleanor said, as the attendants loaded her onto a stretcher into the vehicle. I'll wait for your call, Marcus shouted after her and waved. And as soon as the vehicle drove off, he added Eleanor's number to his blacklist. Then he called the realtor. Eleanor was travelling to her sanatorium feeling uplifted. Perhaps all these procedures would help, and she would be able to walk, even with a walker or a cane, but on her own 2 feet. And then, maybe, Anya would be found. Bump, bump, bump. Eleanor winced. Something felt wrong. Young man, she asked one of the attendants, could you open the window a little? It's stuffy in the car. Yeah, sure, he chuckled. So dust can fly in. Tough it out, Granny. We'll be there soon. Why are you talking to me like that? She sobbed, still struggling to form words slowly. She had returned, but in moments of agitation, the woman found it difficult to speak. The attendants exchanged glances and laughed loudly. And why should I bow to you, you old hag? Just put up with it. We'll deliver you in top condition. You'll rest on your little cot until the end of the world, the second one added. And they laughed again. Anxiety settled in the sick woman's heart. Where were they taking her? Maybe she should call Marcus. She tried to call him, but got only long rings. And then the car entered some village, drove down a deserted street, and stopped in front of a 2-story building with a shabby facade. The attendants pulled out the stretcher with Eleanor and dragged her inside. When they entered the building, the first thing that caught her eye was a bucket. It stood almost by the threshold, an ordinary 10-litre iron bucket, almost full of cigarette butts. Where have you brought me? The unfortunate woman asked with fear. Take me back. That wasn't the order. It's paid one way, one attendant chuckled, and they dragged the stretcher further. Everything that happened afterwards seemed like a bad dream to the woman. A drunken, lanky man in a white coat looked at her indifferently and flipped through her documents. "To room 5 with her," he ordered. "No, that's not our problem anymore." The attendants shook their heads. "We just bring them to the place." "To hell with you," the receiving man grumbled through clenched teeth. "Dump her on the couch. I'll find someone to drag her." The attendants tipped the stretcher in one movement, and Eleanor tumbled onto the couch face down. And they left, saying nasty things on their way out. The man also left, and Eleanor lay there unable to turn over. Tears streamed from her eyes, and it was hard to breathe lying on her stomach, but she couldn't turn herself over. Soon the man in the white coat returned with 2 others. "All right, guys, grab her by the arms and legs and take her to room 5, the worker ordered. "And what's in it for us?" one of them croaked with a chuckle. "I'll buy each of you a pack of good cigarettes." "Okay, then." "She seems frail enough," the newcomers agreed. They tied her legs and arms with straps and carried her. Eleanor at that moment prayed to God for one thing, that He would take her. She couldn't bear such humiliation. The men who were carrying her were also residents of this house of mercy. They were about 70 years old but still strong. Not so bad, just rough and unrefined. On the way, they told Eleanor that living here was all right. The food was decent. "It's a shame you soil yourself," one of them said without any malice. "We only have one nurse. She won't come to you often. You'll just have to bear it." Eleanor blushed from head to toe. She was certainly not used to such treatment. In the ward, besides her, there were 5 other women. 2 of them were also bedridden. Eleanor started calling Marcus to tell him about the horror she had fallen into, but her son-in-law didn't answer. "What? Did they throw you out here like a dog too? And now they don't even want to talk," her neighbour asked her, a plump woman about 70. "It was the same with me. Put the phone down, it's useless." "No, it's some mistake. Marcus said he got me a spot in a boarding house," Eleanor said tearfully. "Yeah, they all said that to us." A bedridden old woman snickered. "And here we all are. Our relatives send us here to die. Who sent you? Your son-in-law? And why? Where's your daughter?" "My daughter is missing and presumed dead." "Well, there's your answer," the plump neighbour chuckled. "Your son-in-law dumped you. You didn't sign any documents for him, did you? The apartment? Then he won't even bring you oranges for New Year," the neighbour snickered. "That's it, forget it. You're here until the end." Eleanor quietly gasped. Her roommate started comforting her, saying there were worse places, and here the food was decent, and Marcus was already busy with affairs and concerns. He was dealing with the apartment, he had to sell it. One day, Mrs. Gable, Eleanor's neighbour, met him at the entrance. "Marcus, what's going on? I saw Eleanor being taken somewhere. Where? And why are you acting like you own the apartment?" the old woman asked sternly. "That's none of your business," Marcus smirked. "None of my business? I just called the police and they'll quickly put you in your place. Answer me, where did you take Eleanor?" "Eleanor is now living in a wonderful sanatorium. The best doctors are working with her. She'll be back on her feet soon, you'll see. And I'm selling the apartment. Eleanor gave it to me," Marcus replied calmly. "She gave it to you?" Mrs. Gable gasped. "And where will she live when she comes back from the sanatorium?" "With me," Marcus nodded confidently. "I'm buying another apartment closer to my work, on the ground floor, so it's easier for Eleanor to get down. Would I abandon her? We're family." "Oh, Marcus, you're such a good man," Mrs. Gable said, touched. "How lucky Eleanor is with her son-in-law. God willing, Anya will be found soon too." "God willing," Marcus agreed. He lied so easily, so confidently, that the old woman had no doubt about the monster standing in front of her. Soon the deal was done. Marcus sold the apartment and then he and Claire moved to the capital. There Marcus bought a good apartment and even had money left for furniture. Yes, he had found a good realtor who sold Eleanor's apartment for a very decent sum. Marcus was starting a new life, a managerial position, excellent prospects, a loved woman by his side, Anya spent a long time explaining who she was and where she came from at the police station in the small mountain village. She had no documents. Then the officer found a missing person report. "So you're the one from the bus?" he whistled. "Yes, I've been saying that for an hour," Anya nodded. "And some family kept you in the mountains for a whole year." "Nobody kept me. I just lay there for a long time. Then I recovered. But I lost my memory. And why didn't they report you to the police? Do you remember where they live?" "I don't remember. They led me out by some paths and put a sack over my head." "That scoundrel," the officer chuckled. "A regular captive story." "Why?" Anya was bewildered. "Well, a Soviet comedy. Remember? They carried a bride in a sack." "No, but I'm telling the truth." "All right," the officer agreed. "We have all sorts of people here. It's good you survived. Who do you want to call?" "I don't remember the numbers. They were on my phone." "But wait, I do," the woman cried out. "My mother's! Only it's a long-distance call." "What can you do? Call," the officer replied grimly, but no one answered Anya's call. She didn't know the apartment had been sold and was undergoing renovation. Then the officer, through his channels, informed her hometown about the one who had turned up. Now they were looking for her. Then there were many formalities, sorting out the travel arrangements. Finally, the same officer put Anya on a train. "Go, daughter, and don't fly like that again." He joked goodbye. "I'll try," Anya replied, and even managed a smile. But her heart was heavy. Why wasn't her mother's phone answering? The journey home felt like an eternity. Anya was still plagued by anxious thoughts about Eleanor. What if something had happened to her in the meantime? The woman tried to think about other things, but it wasn't always possible, and the train just kept going. Anya spent most of the time lying on her bunk. In the past year, she had become unaccustomed to people, and here was a full carriage of them. It was very uncomfortable. The woman remembered her life in the mountains. How was Silas now? How truly unhappy he was. And again, the thought drilled into her mind. Where was her mother? Anya didn't want to think about Marcus at all. She didn't love him one bit. And the resentment had passed too. She would come back, and they would divorce. Let him live with his Claire or whoever else. That was his business. Finally, the train brought her home. Stepping onto the platform, Anya even squinted. The hustle, the loud sounds. How unused she was to it all. But she had to get used to it. The first thing the woman did was go to the police. She had been declared missing and presumed dead. She would have to go through the hassle of restoring her documents, but everything was manageable. "Are your relatives aware yet?" the female investigator asked her. "We tried calling your mother, but couldn't reach her, and your husband is unreachable." "I didn't call my husband, but my mother didn't answer me either. The home number wasn't answered, and I forgot the mobile number," Anya replied with concern. "Don't worry," the investigator reassured her. "Perhaps your mother just went out to the shop or somewhere." "Yes, I hope so." "Well, go home. Congratulations on your return. You could say you were born twice. You fell into a ravine and survived. Amazing." "Yes, I'm shocked myself," Anya smiled. Although she was smiling through her fatigue, out of politeness, her heart felt heavy and uneasy. Finally, leaving the police station, she headed towards her mother's place. Once again, she thought of Silas. He had given her some money for the journey, and it had helped her immensely. She was able to pay for the train ticket herself, and now she had money to get there. And here she stood at the door of her familiar apartment, hesitating to ring the bell. Her mother had a weak heart. How would she react to her appearance? Finally, she decided and raised her hand to the bell. Just then, the door opened. A tall man in work clothes looked at her in surprise. Anya caught a glimpse that the apartment was undergoing renovation. The wallpaper was stripped, the walls plastered, suspended ceilings installed. 2 other men were taking measurements. "Who are you?" Anya asked, surprised. "I'm David," the man replied, no less surprised. "We're doing renovations here. And who are you?" "I'm the daughter of the apartment owner. Mom started renovations, it seems. Where is she herself?" "I don't know about any mother." The worker shook his head. "Mr. Thompson, the owner of this apartment, hired us." "What Mr. Thompson?" Anya was stunned. This is my mother's apartment. Look, lady, I don't know anything. We were hired to work, so we're working. And the man closed the door in Anya's face. The woman was in shock. What had happened? Where was her mother? Just then, the door of the apartment opposite opened slightly, and Mrs. Gable peered out. Anya, is that you? The old woman gasped. You're alive! It's me, Aunt Sonia. I'm back, as soon as I could. Anya rushed to her neighbour. I don't understand anything. Please, tell me where Mom is. I don't understand anything myself. There's been no contact with Eleanor for 3 months. Where did she go? Something's unclear here. Come in, dear. I'll tell you everything, and you tell me everything. But how extraordinary you're alive. And everyone had lost hope. Only Eleanor didn't believe you were dead. A mother's heart doesn't deceive. Muttering, sighing and exclaiming, Mrs. Gable hugged Anya and led her into the apartment. And there, over a cup of tea, Mrs. Gable told her what Marcus had said. I was happy at first that good specialists would be working with Eleanor. Only I was bothered that Marcus decided to sell the apartment. But he reassured me, saying Eleanor would be with me. But since then, not a word from them. I called their mobile so many times, but the phone is out of service. I don't know. I'm scared. What if, Anya, your mother died? She was recovering so slowly after the stroke. But Marcus should have said something. Or shouldn't he? You should ask him yourself. Haven't you seen him yet? Did you go straight to your mother? Oh, Anya, I feel something bad happened to Eleanor. The old woman wiped away tears and continued. And your apartment was bought by some scruffy guy. He drives here in an expensive car. Rarely drops by to check on the renovation progress. He doesn't greet anyone, keeps to himself. I don't know who he is, if he has a family. Mrs. Gable kept talking, and Anya sat there stunned. Marcus had sold her mother's apartment? How could he? Mrs. Gable, this is a huge problem. We need to find Mom, but where? Forgive me, Mrs. Gable. I have to run. Thank you for the tea. Yes, you run to Marcus. He'll know for sure. The neighbour nodded. Just let me know afterwards what happened with Eleanor. I will, Anya replied already at the door. She didn't want to meet Marcus, but there was no other way. Anya went to the office. In the lobby, a security guard blocked her path. Anya didn't remember him. He must have been new. Woman, where are you going? I need Marcus Smith. He works as a programmer here, and I used to work in accounting. You must be new here. I've been here for half a year, the young man nodded. I don't know you, and Marcus Smith doesn't work here anymore. He doesn't work here, Anya gasped. That's right. He moved to London. He works at the head office now. I think he got a promotion. Madam, are you all right? Anya's legs gave way, and if the security guard hadn't been there, she would have collapsed on the floor. He helped her sit down and ran to get water. While Anya was processing what she had heard, the guard called someone. Soon, Sophie, Anya's colleague, appeared in the lobby. Anya, she exclaimed, you're alive! As you can see, Anya smiled weakly. Sophie, I don't understand what's happening. All right, Alex, this woman is with me, Sophie told the guard. This is Anya Petrov. Remember the story about one of our employees who went on vacation and disappeared? This is her. The guard raised his eyebrows in surprise. Her? Let us through. We need to talk. Of course. Soon Anya was sitting in her old accounting department. So many people crowded in. Everyone wanted to see Anya, hear her story, and even touch her, just to be sure she was alive. And they had stopped believing. The boss also looked in. Anya, how happy I am. Mr. Henderson smiled. Welcome back. Thank you. Anya smiled wearily. She had had so much interaction today that she could barely manage to thank everyone. The boss looked at the woman understandingly and then commanded, All right, everyone, get out, back to your workstations. You can chat with your friends later. He deliberately left Anya with the girls, knowing she would want to know about his niece and her husband. He felt somewhat awkward talking about the subject himself, and he felt a bit guilty towards Anya now. Marcus was with Claire now, and he, Mr. Henderson, hadn't stood in their way at all. He had even promoted that unfaithful husband. When everyone left the office, Sophie made tea and Chloe put a bowl of sweets on the table. "Help yourself," Chloe smiled. "Oh, Anya, how happy we are." "Girls, me too. Now please tell me about Marcus." "He's a jerk, your Marcus," Sophie sighed. "After you disappeared, he openly started seeing that Claire, then she moved into your rented apartment. It seemed they were planning to move out." "To acknowledge it," Emily added. "So, maybe they've already married in their London. He was appointed head of department, wasn't he? They apparently bought an apartment in London." "And Mom? He didn't take my mother to London?" Anya asked with concern. "Your mother?" Emily was surprised, and she and Sophie exchanged glances. "I don't know anything about your mother, but I suppose Claire definitely wouldn't have gone for that. Why would she want the mother of his former wife?" "Oh, Anya, why are you asking?" "I can't find my mother," Anya replied tearfully. "Her apartment has been sold, and where she is unknown. And the strangest thing is that Marcus was able to sell the apartment." "He sold the apartment?" "He could have done it with power of attorney. Or maybe she gave him the apartment." "But why?" Sophie said and thought, and then added, "Anya, I remember." Claire blurted out to someone that Marcus had pulled off a very successful deal. I didn't understand what she meant then, but now I think, could it be related to your mother's apartment? "Anya, you probably need to go to the police," Emily said quietly. "But don't get worked up beforehand. Maybe nothing terrible has happened." "Yes, girls, I hope so," Anya replied vaguely and got up from the table. "I have to go." "Yeah, just don't disappear again now and come back to work." Chloe hugged her, and then Sophie did too. "As soon as I sort everything out, I will." "Thank you, it was good to see you." "And for us too." They hugged again. Then Chloe and Sophie saw Anya out of the office. "Are you going to the police now?" Sophie asked. "First, I want to see Lucy, my school friend. Maybe she knows something." Anya looked at her watch and realised it would be better to go to Lucy's place and wait for her there. It was almost the end of the workday. She might miss her if she went to her office now. Anya had been sitting outside the building for over an hour. Lucy still wasn't there. Where could she have gone? Oh my God! Where have all the people dear to me disappeared to? Just then, a taxi stopped at the entrance, and Lucy got out. At first, she didn't notice Anya, took a suitcase from the taxi driver, exchanged a few pleasant words with him, and then stepped towards the entrance and saw Anya. She froze. "Anya! Am I dreaming?" Lucy whispered barely audibly, but Anya was already running towards her. The friends hugged, kissed, and then went up to the apartment. "All right, spill it. Where have you been? With whom? And why were you silent for so long? Take off your shoes in the hallway," Lucy commanded. "Lucy, you'll hear the whole truth." "But first, tell me, have you seen my mother lately?" Anya asked in a pleading tone. "About 3 months. I was on a business trip to London. Can you imagine, Anya? I hesitated about going then. I felt awkward leaving Eleanor after her stroke. But she herself said she felt fine. She was still in the hospital. I left. Anya, it was a trip to England. You understand." I called a few times to check on Eleanor, but the phone was silent. The hospital told me she was discharged, with good progress, but Marcus picked her up. That made me worried, but I couldn't reach him either, and I come back, and here you are. Lucy fell silent and looked at her friend questioningly. "So where is Eleanor?" Anya whispered in horror. "I hoped you knew." "And Marcus?" "He bought an apartment in the capital, as I understand, with the money from your mother's apartment. Did he really send her to her grave?" "Oh, don't jump to conclusions." Lucy turned pale. "He's a jerk, of course, but he wouldn't do something like that. He doesn't have the nerve because he's a coward. I have no idea where to look. Tomorrow we'll go to the police and you'll file a report. A whole family of missing people. Lucy, I'm scared." "Everything will be all right, you'll see. And now, friend, let's go grab a bite to eat at a cafe. I'm hungry from the trip, and the house is bare. The fridge is even unplugged." "Lucy, I'm so tired," Anya replied timidly. "Maybe just tea and sleep." All right, you really are exhausted. You get some rest. I'll go to the store for groceries. When Lucy returned from the store, Anya was already fast asleep on the sofa in the living room. Her friend smiled and covered her with a blanket. Poor thing, she's been through a lot. What happened to her? Lucy didn't know yet. Well, never mind. The main thing is she's alive. We'll talk about everything in the morning. But truly, where should they look for Eleanor? In the morning, Anya woke up to the smell of fragrant coffee. Her friend was bustling in the kitchen with breakfast. Good morning, friend. Anya appeared at the doorway. Oh my God! I haven't had coffee in 1,000 years. We'll fix that right now, Lucy replied cheerfully. Come to the table. I've made scrambled eggs and some sandwiches. It smells so good already, Anya smiled. And then she looked serious. We need to go to the police. We'll eat now, talk, and then go, Lucy replied, in a tone that brooked no argument. Finally, Anya told her friend her story. Lucy deserved to know everything. Amazing, Lucy exclaimed, having heard it all. It's like something out of a movie. And that Silas, he never bothered you? No, he was very respectful. Respectful? He kept a woman captive for a whole year. He should be on trial. No, Lucy, he's good. And swear to me that you won't tell anyone about him. He's just a very unhappy person with a broken life. All right, fine. Good thing he let you go. The friends sat at the table for a little longer, and then they started getting ready to go to the police. Lucy found some clothes for Anya from her things and gave her some makeup. Lucy, Anya looked timidly at her friend. I have no one left but you. Can I stay with you for a while until I sort everything out? Are you even asking? Lucy chuckled. The living room is yours for as long as you need it. I'll give you a second set of keys and some money for small expenses. We'll just stop by the nearest ATM. You don't have cards, do you? No, and no passport or phone either. Lucy didn't wait for her friend's answer, but opened the bedside table and took out an old phone. Here, this will do for now. We'll just buy a SIM card on the way to the police station. Anya hugged her friend again. How wonderful Lucy was. At the police station, they listened carefully and promised to help. For some reason, Anya felt even sadder after visiting the station. She hadn't even filed a report. But within an hour, she received a call from the police. Your mother is in the House of Mercy in Gavrilovka village, the local officer said. In the House of Mercy? Anya cried out. Is she alive? She's alive, but as you understand, after a stroke. The staff at the House of Mercy said she's bedridden and cannot care for herself. What kind of... The officer gave her detailed directions. Soon Anya and Lucy were rattling along in an intercity bus. Gavrilovka turned out to be a small village with 3 streets, many abandoned houses and a broken road. Geese and ducks roamed the streets. Anya and Lucy walked along the path from the bus stop, looking around. Is there a House of Mercy here? Lucy asked an old man who was pulling a goat on a rope. Yes, there is. He nodded in response. Go through that lane there. You'll see a 2-story building. It's the only one we have, you can't miss it. You can see it from here. The women turned to where the old man pointed. Indeed, there was a building, but it looked gloomy and clearly hadn't been renovated in a long time. When the friends entered this House of Mercy, they felt even worse. Cleaning was clearly not a priority here. Seeing a bucket by the door that was used as an ashtray, Lucy couldn't stand it. I need to see Eleanor, she said, spitting, to a middle-aged woman in a white coat and headscarf. This was an attendant. Eleanor? The attendant frowned. Passport? I haven't gotten it back yet. I have a certificate. Anya reached into her purse to get the document. I don't need your papers, the attendant declared. This is a restricted facility. No entry without a passport. Leave the premises. Listen, Lucy exclaimed indignantly. We are looking for someone. The police gave us this address. Do you want me to call the proper authorities now and have a task force come here? Restricted facility, you say? It's a shed. Take us to Eleanor. Otherwise, I promise you'll have problems. Lucy was so convincing that the attendant slightly recoiled. She nodded her head in agreement and invited them to room 5. There she is. The attendant pointed to the bed by the window. At first, Anya didn't understand. Was there anyone lying there at all? Or was it just a heap of dirty rags? She came closer and gasped. It was her mother. Eleanor was lying with her eyes closed. She was covered with a sheet. A bundle of dirty bedding and a towel lay at her feet. Mum was so thin that Anya wanted to cry. She barely managed to hold back. "Mummy," she said, and sat down next to her on the bed. The woman opened her eyes with difficulty and looked at her daughter for a few seconds. "Anya," she whispered barely audibly, syllable by syllable. "You came! Alive!" "My mummy!" Anya sobbed, no longer holding back. "I'm alive! I'm back! I found you, Mom. I'm taking you out of here today." "No way!" the attendant protested. "The management won't be here until tomorrow. You'll sort it out with them." "Lucy, we have to take her out of here. This is terrible." "That's right. We'll all go to my place now," Lucy replied confidently. "Thank you." Anya looked at her friend, then at her mother, and tears continued to stream from her eyes. "But how? How can we take Mom?" "Listen," the attendant cried out. "Are you deaf? I told you I won't let you." "You listen to me," Lucy glared at the attendant. "I saw this woman after her stroke in the hospital. She looked much better then. She was speaking normally, slowly, but quite well. And now she can barely move her tongue. You've brought her to this state. We will sue you. And now I'm calling the police and reporting that you are holding a person here by force. A sick, medical..." The attendant went to make a call, and Lucy, as promised, called the police and an ambulance. While everything was being sorted out, Anya sat with her mother, telling her how she had managed to survive. Besides Eleanor, all the women in the ward listened attentively. What a story! Can things like this really happen in life? The chief doctor of this House of Mercy arrived very quickly. He wanted Lucy and Anya to leave, but the police and ambulance arrived, and he quieted down a bit. The paramedics examined Eleanor and were horrified. There were bed sores all over her body. She had clearly not been properly cared for here. The woman was urgently taken to the hospital, and the police drove Anya and Lucy to the district centre, where they caught the last bus back to the city. "Do you think they'll close this House of Mercy?" Anya asked her friend. "I hope there will be some investigation, because you can't keep elderly people in such conditions," Lucy replied thoughtfully. "I'll call here. I took the administration's phone number from the detective just in case. But Anya, something else in this story angers me. Marcus sent Eleanor to this dump, knowing what awaited her there." "Yes, he was waiting for her to die," Anya replied dully. "Mom told me confusedly, unclearly, but I understood. It turns out she was afraid that after her death, my cousin would sue for the apartment. I was missing and presumed dead. And so, to prevent me from having problems in the future, she wrote a deed of gift to Marcus. She thought we, as a family, would sort this out later. Yes, she trusted her son-in-law so much, and she also believed you were alive. Maybe she was the only one who believed it. Anya, forgive me. I actually thought you were dead. I blame myself for that voucher." "Stop it, Lucy. Who could have known that would happen? And my survival is truly a miracle. I want to ask you something else. You said we'll take her to your place. Lucy, did you mean it? Anya, how else? Where will you and Eleanor live? They'll treat her now, and you two will stay at my place." "Of course, Lucy. I'll cover all the expenses." The friends, hugging, continued their journey. From then on, they were more than friends, almost sisters. 2 weeks later, Eleanor was discharged from the district hospital. Lucy arranged for special transport, and soon the woman was brought to her apartment, where everything was ready for her normal life. A long recovery still lay ahead, but the doctors said, "Eleanor is not hopeless at all. If she works at it, she might get back on her feet." Caring for a sick person is hard work that needs to be done 24 hours a day. Anya understood that it cost money, and a lot of it. Massages, medications, hygiene products. It was all very expensive. And living off her friend was becoming embarrassing. And Lucy wasn't a millionaire. But Anya couldn't go back to working in the office. Who would take care of her mother then? A caretaker was also an expensive luxury, and so Anya decided to try finding remote work. To her surprise, she quickly found work in her field, and the salary promised to be almost double what she made at the office. Anya began handling the accounting for 2 organisations remotely. She had to work in fits and starts. Her mother occupied all the rest of her time. After a few months, Eleanor could hold a spoon herself, sit up a little, and her normal speech returned. "Daughter," she said to Anya one night before bed, "forgive me, you old fool. I didn't see through your husband. I thought he loved you, but he put on such a show, pretending you were cheating, and he himself was the scoundrel. He led me to transfer the apartment to him. I believed him. I'll never forgive myself for that. And I ended up without a home, and now you're homeless because of me. Mom, don't worry. Everything will work out, and Marcus will answer for everything." "But how? Do you think we can get the apartment back?" "Probably not the apartment, but I think we can get the money Marcus got from selling it. It won't be easy, though. It wasn't even a will. It was a deed of gift." "Oh, I was such an idiot. I thought it would be easier for you. I just ruined everything. I keep telling you, don't worry. We'll fix everything, Mom. The main thing is, we're both alive. You're recovering. Maybe you'll even walk again." "Oh, God willing, good night, daughter. I love you so much." "And I love you too, my dear." Anya told her mother the truth. She had already inquired about how to hold Marcus accountable. No, it was unlikely he could be punished for putting Eleanor in the House of Mercy. After all, that House of Mercy operated legally, and he could easily justify himself by saying he didn't know what was going on inside. The relevant services were supposed to monitor conditions. He wasn't obligated to. He wasn't her son, just her son-in-law, and the next one at that. But contesting the deed of gift and the money Marcus received in court was possible. Anya was now looking for a good lawyer. She found one a few days later, quite by chance. She went to the office she worked with remotely to clarify some questions, and she bumped into a young man at the door. He ran into her, and a folder of papers flew out of Anya's hands. He immediately started helping her pick up the sheets, apologising. In the process, they talked and introduced themselves. The man's name was Alex. "If you ever need a lawyer's help, I'd be happy to take your case," he said, picking up the last sheet and handing it to Anya. "You're a lawyer?" Anya looked at the man with interest. "Yes, and quite successful. Though I advise you not to do bad things because I practice civil law, dealing with property matters, inheritance disputes, and things like that." Alex smiled. "But if anything comes up, I can find you a good colleague for criminal cases. I actually need to resolve a property dispute." "About an apartment," Anya replied. "Could I have your business card?" Alex handed it to her right away. That evening, Anya looked up Alex online. According to the internet, he really was a good lawyer. And Anya decided to call him. The very next day, they met in Alex's office. He listened to Anya. "A difficult case," he said, thinking everything over. "But I'll take it. I think we can win. I just need to prepare. But I have a question. Have you spoken to your husband? Maybe he'll just give you the money for the apartment?" "I can't stand the sight of him," Anya admitted, "and I don't think he'll give me anything back. But it's worth talking to him anyway. Maybe it can be resolved without court." But it wasn't resolved without court. They met by chance. Anya and her mother were at the clinic again, waiting to call a taxi from there. Anya was pushing her mother's wheelchair. They were talking about something, when suddenly Eleanor froze mid-sentence. "What is it, Mom? Are you feeling unwell?" Anya asked, worried. She leaned down to her mother and followed her gaze. Eleanor was looking ahead at a couple walking. It was Marcus and Claire. They were holding hands, laughing, talking to each other. Both looked absolutely happy. They had just arrived back in town yesterday. Marcus had to sort out a couple of work issues and Claire just tagged along, and only then did they find out Anya was alive. Mr. Henderson, Claire's uncle, had told them. That was a twist! At first, Marcus was flustered and even scared, but then he thought about it and decided, what about Anya? Marcus, she'll come after you for the apartment, Claire reminded him in horror. Let her. He waved his hand carelessly. The old woman personally gave me the apartment. In that case, I can dispose of it personally, and it's not considered joint property, so the money from the sale of the apartment is mine. Is that right? Absolutely, darling. Relax. That hen won't get anything. Even if she tries to cause trouble, her mother cleverly tricked herself, without even realizing it. And how is she, that old woman? I don't know. Maybe she's dead by now. What do I care? She's a stranger to me now. They talked and calmed down. And now, walking down the street, they were making plans for how they would buy a new car soon, go on vacation, and maybe even on a honeymoon. They were starting a new life, a new relationship. And then they also saw Anya with Eleanor. They froze for a second, then stepped forward, intending to walk past. Hello, Marcus, Anya said, and stepped towards them, blocking their path and shielding Eleanor. What a meeting! Aren't you happy? Did you think my bones were already scattered? But I'm alive. Alive, as you can see. Well, congratulations on your miraculous return, Marcus mumbled. Thank you. And Mum is alive too, although you sent her to a real hell, Marcus. How could you? She trusted you so much. Anya, leave me alone, Marcus replied irritably. You're alive, be happy about it. I have my own life, my own family. By the way, while we're at it, let's file for divorce today. Our marriage has been just on paper for a long time, and I have a new life. A new life? Anya repeated with a smirk. In a new apartment? Yes, a new one. And it's mine. And whose money did you buy it with, could you tell me? I earned it, Marcus replied brazenly. And what about the money from Mum's apartment? Where is it? In a safe place. Then give it back. It belongs to Mum, essentially. No way, Marcus laughed. She gave it to me. The apartment was mine. Isn't that right, Eleanor? He, laughing, bowed towards the sick woman over Anya's shoulder. Eleanor was sitting in the wheelchair, pale as chalk, her hands trembling. She couldn't utter a word. Anya, seeing what was happening to her mother, immediately returned to the wheelchair. To hell with you, she threw after the retreating couple. We'll meet in court. You'll lose anyway. And they went their separate ways. Their laughter echoed in Anya's ears for a long time. Don't worry, Mom. He'll get what's coming to him, Anya said. He'll answer for everything. For the infidelity, for deceiving you, and for his despicable behaviour. Anya, maybe just let him choke on it now. You'll only wear yourself out, and I'll probably be called to court too. How can I don't want to. Will the judge say she was a complete fool? He'll say it's all fine, Anya replied to her mother. I'm more than sure of it. The same day she called Alex and told him about her conversation with her husband. Well, if it's war, the lawyer replied. We'll fight. Alex began his work. He prepared thoroughly for the case and brilliantly defended the rights of Anya and her mother in court. Marcus also found a strong lawyer, who clearly had no intention of backing down. Marcus was confident he could leave his ex-wife without her mother's apartment, and Eleanor too. Fools need to be taught a lesson, he thought to himself, and he smirked, winking at his lawyer. But the court did not accept his arguments. Alex proved that Marcus, taking advantage of Anya's mother's illness, managed to gain her trust and obtain the deed of gift by deception. In addition, the judge was very impressed by where Marcus had sent Eleanor. And you never once inquired about how Eleanor was living? The judge asked Marcus. No, why? I called the staff, Marcus replied. They said everything was fine. And as for myself, I had work. And didn't it occur to you that if your wife turned out to be alive, where would she live after her return? You sold her mother's apartment, leaving her no chance, the judge asked again. How was I supposed to know she was alive? Marcus said, looking down. Could anyone have survived that accident? I think she's hiding something about this whole business. Maybe she wasn't even on that bus. In any case, she is before you now. That is a fact. But I've had another woman for a long time, and we love each other. So you were seeing someone else even before the accident? Yes. And what? Marcus lifted his head haughtily, ignoring his lawyer's fidgeting. Things were heading towards divorce with Anya anyway. Nevertheless, according to Catherine's statement, as the legal representative of the plaintiff, she learned about your affair by chance. Well, that's how it happened. And did Eleanor know you were seeing someone else deceiving her daughter? Oh my God! What does it matter? In any case, she signed everything herself. And she wasn't that sick. She knew what she was doing. And her daughter won't be lost. She's found somewhere to live now and she'll manage. Marcus snapped angrily. And the money is gone now. I bought an apartment in London, and it's definitely mine. I won't give it to anyone. I understand everything, the judge replied dryly, and withdrew to deliver the verdict. And it was just. The deed of gift was declared invalid, and Marcus was ordered to return all the money to Eleanor. In addition, the claim for moral damages was also satisfied, and a month later, there was another court hearing regarding the divorce. Alex again brilliantly defended Anya's interests, pushing for the division of joint property. Marcus was furious. Not only did he have to sell the apartment and return all the money to Eleanor, now Catherine was demanding to divide the car and the bank deposits too. I earned that myself, Marcus shouted in court. We weren't living together anymore. Yes, we weren't living together. But before that, we had a car that Marcus sold, Anya replied to the judge. And then he bought another one. I took out a loan, and there were savings in the joint account. After I disappeared, the money went directly into that account. Marcus was even twisted when he heard this. Indeed, he hadn't changed the account. He had overlooked that. But I wasn't planning to live with her, he shouted at the judge. Nevertheless, nothing was changed documentarily, Alex noted in response. And so, Marcus wilted. As a result, they were divorced. Anya received half of her husband's property, and in addition, the claim for moral compensation was satisfied. The judge considered it fair to award money from the husband for his infidelity. After all, if it hadn't been for the infidelity, Anya wouldn't have gone on vacation to calm down a bit, and wouldn't have gotten into the accident. And this claim was equal to the amount that Marcus had left after the division of property. After the court hearing, Claire, who was again in court, flew out like a cork. Marcus ran after her. Claire, wait, he shouted. We'll definitely appeal everything. Appeal what? What kind of lawyer? You just bragged, I can do anything, she won't get anything. She got everything and more, and you're left with nothing but the clothes on your back. Well, never mind, I'll earn more. What will you earn and when, you think? I need a man, and you can't even pay for lunch at a restaurant now. And speaking of work, you'll be fired tomorrow. I'm calling my uncle and asking him to do it. Claire, I don't understand. Why? We love each other. Love. I loved a successful, confident man. And you're a wimp. Your wife cleaned you out, and the old woman, and you just mumbled in court. Go to hell. She got into the car and drove away. Marcus stood there watching the car go. Then he turned to the courthouse and saw Anya with Alex, who were watching the whole scene from the side. Satisfied? Marcus shouted at Anya. Did you get what you wanted? Anya just nodded in response. Then she got into Alex's car, and they drove away. 3 years passed. Much had changed since then. Anya and Eleanor lived happily. Eleanor had recovered from her illness. She could now walk on her own, talk normally, and had made friends among the neighbours in their new house. But she kept in touch with Mrs. Gable, mostly by phone. She didn't want to visit her former neighbour, couldn't bear to see the old apartment. It hurt her to realise that the past couldn't be brought back, although the present was also a joy, because her daughter was doing well, and Anya was indeed doing great now. But it didn't happen immediately. There were still worries, shocks and anxieties. Back then, 3 years ago, after the court, she felt conflicted. On the one hand, she had punished her abuser, his mistress had left him, everyone got what they deserved, and that felt good. But at the same time, she felt a little sorry for Marcus. He had truly become pathetic and lost. Just as Claire had promised, he was fired from his job. He returned from the capital, rented a room, tried to get a job at several firms, but no one hired him, as everyone had heard about his apartment scam and how he had treated his wife and her mother. Dishonest people are visible from afar. Soon he started making a living by repairing computers at home. Gradually, he took to drinking. One day, Anya met him on the street and didn't even recognize him at first. Gaunt, unshaven, in dirty clothes, almost a homeless person. Marcus saw Anya too, and so they stood for a few minutes. Then Anya took the first step. "Hi," she said. "How are you doing?" "Can't you see?" he sneered. "Thanks to you, I'm almost finished." "Well, you only have yourself to blame for that. You destroyed me, took everything from me, including the woman I loved." "The woman you loved?" Anya smirked. "Did she love you? She was with you back then, when she saw potential in you, when you started earning money. But as soon as you lost everything, she ran away. I wouldn't have done that, Marcus. So, maybe, not a chance. I have a different life now. So what do you want from me? Standing there, reveling in your triumph. It's cruel. No, Marcus, no triumph. I want to help you." "Are you mocking me? You, after everything. After everything." "Listen, there's a village called Gavrilovka, and in it, a house of mercy. Yes, the very one where you sent Mom. After we visited, there were big inquiries there. The management and staff were changed. The building was renovated. I know all this because Lucy, my friend, as you remember, keeps a close eye on this, calls the district administration, the hospital. It's just that everything there shocked us so much then. But now everything is fine. Only one problem. They don't have anyone to set up the computer equipment." "In the House of Mercy?" Marcus scoffed. "They have plenty of paperwork there too." "So I was thinking, would you like to go there? I think you'll easily find accommodation. There are many abandoned houses there." "Would they take me?" "They would if Lucy asks." Marcus pondered. What did he have to lose by going? His ex-wife was standing there, such a lady. But then he remembered he couldn't pay his rent next month. "I agree." "That's good. The main thing is, don't drink in the new place. Things are very strict there now," Anya replied. "I'll call you once Lucy has arranged it. I'll give you the exact address. Give me your phone number." Marcus obediently provided it. Anya wrote it down in her notebook and was about to leave, but stopped. "I want to say one more thing to you. I'll give you back the money from your account. I don't need it. I just wanted to show you what happens to a person who commits betrayal. Taught you a lesson, did I?" Marcus smirked. "Yes, taught you a lesson. But there wasn't much there anyway. I'll return it. But don't even think about the moral compensation. I won't give that up." "I agree. Where should I transfer it? What's the account number?" "I don't remember." "All right. I'll tell you when I call. Just don't spend it right away and leave. Believe me, it will be better that way." And she left. They didn't see each other again. Later, she called him, got the account number, and told him where to go. Marcus thanked her dryly. Anya transferred the money, and that was the end of their communication. Later, she learned, Marcus was servicing computers at the House of Mercy and also working half-time as a nurse's aide. He was given an abandoned house which he fixed up and lived in. He had started a relationship with a woman who had 5 children, an ordinary woman who worked on a farm. And Anya's personal life took a sharp upward turn after the divorce. She and Alex were just friends for a while, calling each other occasionally, exchanging messages. One day he came with a bouquet of flowers and asked her out on a date. That evening, Anya and her mother were baking pies. She came out to Alex as she was, in an apron with flour-dusted hands. She stood there flustered, wiping her hands on the apron, her cheeks burning for some reason, and Alex was all dressed up with a bouquet. "Well, you could have at least warned me you were coming," Anya said with a hint of reproach. "But I think this is the best way to do it, Anya. Why are we acting like kids? We like each other, don't we?" Anya didn't have time to reply before Eleanor looked out from the kitchen into the hallway. "Oh, Alex, hello!" she beamed. "Why are you standing by the door? Anya, why are you keeping the guest on the doorstep? Invite him to the table. Everything's ready." "Indeed. Maybe some pies to start?" Anya smiled. "I love pies." Alex laughed. "What kind are they?" "With meat, with cabbage, with mushrooms." "Oh, with mushrooms. That's my weakness. And then the three of them sat at the kitchen table, drinking tea, eating pies. A vase with roses stood nearby on the cabinet. Eleanor tactfully excused herself soon after. There, chase Mom away, Alex smiled guiltily. No, she just doesn't want to bother us, Anya replied. She thinks we're already having a romance. And what do you think? Anya smiled thoughtfully. After everything she had been through, she didn't want any new feelings. But why was her heart pounding so, and the blush wouldn't leave her cheeks? So, maybe we should take a walk after all. And he nodded back happily. And then Alex started appearing more and more often at their apartment, and Anya couldn't resist. They had been seeing each other for several months. Sometimes Anya stayed the night at his place. One morning she felt unwell. She didn't pay much attention to it, but then it happened again, and only then did a realization dawn on Anya. Could it be? No, it couldn't. She hadn't been able to get pregnant for so many years, but the test said otherwise. And then the doctor at the women's clinic confirmed the pregnancy. Anya flew out of the clinic on wings. She was going to be a mother. Oh my God, what a miracle! Everything was coming true in her life. She called Alex. Darling, I'm going to lunch now. Where are you? I can pick you up, Alex said first. I'm near the clinic, Anya replied happily. Are you sick? Alex's voice became serious. What happened? Alex, you're going to be a father. Alex was silent for a second, then said dryly that he would be right there. Anya waited for him, happy, until he pulled up, when he stopped abruptly. Get in, he said curtly, not looking at Anya. The smile slid off the woman's face. Alex, what's wrong? Something wrong at work? Everything's fine at work. I just didn't expect this from you. Didn't expect what? Anya looked at the man she loved, confused. Your pregnancy. So you don't want a child? Anya paled. You could have just said right away that this wasn't serious for us. Anya, this is serious. I love you and I desperately want you to be my wife. But I didn't know how to tell you. Anya, I can't have children. I was married right after university for 3 years, and then they told me I was infertile. Alex said this, looking into Anya's eyes. Now tell me, why were you with me if you were sleeping with someone else too? I wasn't with anyone but you. Anya was so flustered, she didn't even know how to prove to the man she loved that she was faithful to him. You won't even look me in the eye. Alex, I also had trouble getting pregnant for a long time. Nothing worked out with Marcus. The doctors just threw up their hands. I love only you, and this is your child. I don't believe you, Alex replied, and turned the ignition key. Where should I take you? To your mother's, or to that other guy? Go tell him the good news. These words finished Anya off. She wasn't going to try to prove anything or make excuses. Take me to Mom's, she said quietly. At the house, she got out of the car. Goodbye, Anya said. Goodbye, Alex replied. Then he drove to a bar and got drunk. He had never felt so bad before. For the first time in his life, he had met the woman he considered the best in the world, and she turned out to be a he. He had argued in court how she was a saintly woman who had been cruelly wronged. She was no better than her Marcus. Alex took out his phone to delete Anya's number, when suddenly it rang. It was his mother, Dr. Miller. She lived in the capital, worked as a therapist in a clinic, had recently visited her son, met Anya. They had even become friends, and now she was calling. Son, where are you? She asked demandingly. Alex mumbled. Nowhere. All right, Alex, I know everything. I just called Anya, and she told me everything. The poor girl is sobbing. She doesn't know what she's guilty of. She doesn't know, Alex sneered. Did she say that? She knows everything, Mom. Anya is very bad. Don't call her any more. Anya is very good, and you're an idiot. Listen to me. There's nothing wrong with your reproductive system. Do you understand me? Mom, I understand. But you're a therapist, and the specialist at the family planning clinic told me something completely different. Your specialist told you what I asked them to, and gave you the conclusion I needed. Alex, hearing this, sobered up instantly. Mom? Why did you do that? He asked softly. I never liked your Beth. I just felt there was something off about her. You just couldn't understand what was wrong. And then I accidentally found out from a colleague. I was just visiting you, and my colleague told me that my daughter-in-law was coming to see her. She was infertile herself, and was afraid to admit it to her husband, meaning she was afraid to tell you. Do you understand? I understand. And you desperately want a child. So, she begged the doctor to arrange everything so she could fertilize a donor egg and implant it. And it didn't matter if it was your biological material or not. The main thing was that you wouldn't know about it. When the doctor asked why Beth wanted to deceive her husband, she admitted that she absolutely couldn't lose such a promising guy. A lawyer, advocate, a brilliant future. You see, she wasn't talking about love. She was talking about money. That's when I asked for them to give you false test results. I didn't want her to lead you on. Yes, I know she tried to persuade you to use donors later, but you refused because you considered it wrong. Yes, that's right. That's why we broke up. I told her that maybe she would find a healthy man and be happy, and I would live alone, Beth cried, and then left. And she left because I threatened her that I would tell everyone about her 10 abortions. Mom, what are you saying? Yes, dear, it turns out your ex-wife led a very wild lifestyle before you and had abortions regularly, and when she wanted to become a mother, it turned out she couldn't. I couldn't allow such a woman to be with you. Mom, but why were you silent afterwards? Beth lives in another city. She's already married. I wouldn't have brought her back. I just didn't dare. Forgive me, son. I deceived you. But it was a lie to save you. And now, please call a taxi and go home. And tomorrow, run to Anya and ask for forgiveness. I see that this woman loves you. She is real. You will be happy with her. After talking to his mother, Alex sat in silence for a while longer, processing what he had heard. Wow, what Mom had done. Yes, he had loved Beth, but now only Anya was in his thoughts. How badly he had hurt her. Stumbling, he left the bar and headed for a taxi. He got in, shaking his head. He didn't feel that drunk. Why should he wait until tomorrow? He would go to Anya now. Meanwhile, Anya was sitting in the kitchen with Eleanor. They were having a difficult conversation. Daughter? Maybe Lucy can call him? It's unlikely she can help here. He doesn't believe me, and that's fine. Honestly, I think he just made up this infertility thing to leave. And let him leave. I'll have this child anyway. Exactly, Anya. A child is the most important thing in a woman's life. Never mind, we'll raise him. They were still talking when the doorbell rang. Who is it so late? Eleanor was surprised. Anya opened the door. Alex stepped in, swaying towards her. Why did you come? Anya flared up. Haven't you said enough nasty things and now you're drunk? Anya, forgive me. I'm an idiot, a complete idiot. Forgive me for being like this. I don't want to wait. I want to say it now. Anya, marry me. I know this is my child. I was deceived myself before. That's why I acted like a pig. All right, we'll talk about everything in the morning. Come in and go to bed. Alex obediently shuffled into the room, and in the morning there were many explanations and confessions. Eleanor patiently sat in the kitchen and waited, and then they came out and said they were going to the registry office to file their application. Finally, sighed her mother. That's good. The wedding was a month later, cheerful and lively, and the bride and groom were the happiest. They had managed to find each other in this world. They had overcome trials. They were able to understand each other and forgive everyone for the sake of future happiness. Eleanor and Dr. Miller sat side by side at the wedding and whispered, Eleanor, our children are the most beautiful. Of course, they're our children. And both women were filled with pride, and tears glistened slightly in their eyes, and they were tears of happiness. And in due course, Anya gave birth to a boy. Alex, Eleanor, Dr. Miller, and Lucy met her at the maternity hospital. Alex took the baby in his arms and carefully pulled back the blanket, looking at his face. He looks like me, he said proudly. Who else would he look like? Anya laughed. My little one. And a dispute arose between the young parents. Anya, what kind of name is Gosha for a boy? Although George is a beautiful English name. George Alexandrovich. Doesn't that sound good? Darling, why are you against it? I'm not against it. I even like it. But it immediately makes me think of that Silas who found you in the mountains. Isn't it in his honour? What on earth? Are you jealous or something? Anya smiled. Don't be. Although, maybe you're right. A little bit in his honour. Because if he hadn't found me, hadn't nursed me back to health, we wouldn't be leaving the maternity hospital now, carrying our little miracle. So it is in honour of Silas after all, Alex chuckled. All right. And anyway, George is a great name. He's the victorious one. May our son always be a winner. And the little winner snuffled quietly in his mother's arms. Anya thought and looked out the window. A fluffy white cloud drifted across the sky. Anya looked closely, and for a moment it seemed to her that it was the peak of a huge snow-capped mountain. She remembered for a moment the year spent in the mountains. Now it seemed to her that it hadn't happened to her, just like everything else that had happened in her life before, and her real story was just beginning.